Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ryan, and I am surrounded by
Ted,
Nate,
Dave.
You could even say flanked. Today we're going to do a world building video, and it's something that kind of come up on another video with basically aquatic dwarves, but they're kind of centauric in that they have the upper torso of a dwarf and the lower torso of a crab.
So how does a dwarf become aquatic? They're not really known for their love of water.
Well, this is a different species, a different race. That's like, there's aquatic elves. Why not aquatic dwarves?
they're just dwarf-esque, right?
Yeah, I mean...
They said, this dwarf on this land seems good, and they're already grumpy, so...
Let's put them in the water.
They're crab. One might even say crabby.
Well, we could say that like they've just always existed because they're unique denizens of the below the tides.
So now
Well, you also need creation mythos. So I think, I would prefer that they actually started off as dwarves and for some reason become this thing. It's far more interesting.
They could have been like a race of seafaring dwarves that like either got cursed or blessed.
Yeah.
Like they were going down.
Maybe some actually view it as a curse, others view it as a blessing. So maybe there's actually a rift.
I would feel like that wouldn't be the case because this would be like thousands of years, right? Is what I'm
Way back in their
thinking.
history.
Yeah.
So it's not like they just got cursed.
That's true.
Tuesday. It happened Tuesday.
Well, now we've got a rift because people are like, man, I don't like this chitin, this exoskeleton. This is beat.
So looking at the actual, race profile for dwarf.
So we're racially profiling. Do we really in this day and age?
So you're
I
not
think it's an
gonna
acceptable tactic.
you're not gonna really be able to add these things as a subrace. So you're gonna have to have them built, completely separate from dwarf.
Well, I think the con. I mean, really, what do they get? They get Constitution's a big deal,
Well, they're not going to get stone cutting,
which is part of a regular dwarf trait.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but who's to say? Like their communities could be like built into the stones.
Just be coral cutting.
Well, I mean,
instead.
cutting. Yeah, they could be cut into the stone underwater. Like they could make dwellings and fortresses and this and that.
I mean,
You could take a lot of dwarven traits and map them into being underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But they're not going to be as useful.
Well, there's that. There definitely is that.
well, I mean, what do they live in? Seaweed huts? They're dwarves. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not tunneling. They're not. Well, they could be mining,
They
but
could
they're
be.
but they're not tunneling. They're.
A dwarven home is just a mine that's done. That's all. It's a little mine section. And you're like, well, this is a nice pad.
They actually
And it doesn't have any
live
gold in it.
underground. If you're a seafaring creature, you probably do not live underground. Your home may be carved into stone, but you still want to be in the water.
Stone cutting.
Yes, you can stone cut, but I don't know. Like unless you were talking underwater spelunking, basically, and underwater flooded caverns, like basically as above below, but it's flooded with water. It feels less interesting to me than just taking our dwarves and dunking them in water.
Well, I mean, so there's kind of a thing like you often see crabs like I could see crabs in sort of this sort of subterranean underwater thing that's like, well, I mean, so parts of it could be submerged, parts of it not, because you see like crabs creeping across things, like I feel like in movies
bring their own shelter
but
with
in
them,
movies
so.
you see like crabs in caves like creeping along type of thing, like these watery drowned caves.
They also dig in the sand, so
They build sandcastles.
yeah, maybe they've got some kind of weird saliva that makes sand like concrete or something. I don't know.
You're quiet, Ted. What are you thinking?
I'm at a loss because the dwarf gets a lot of stuff, and if you're going to say, we're going to make a, is it a quadruped? Is it an octoped? Crabs have a lot of legs. Does it have pinchers? Does it have arms? I'm trying to figure out like how I would personally build this thing as a race build. And I can't lump it into this box. The sub races get so little. The hill dwarf plus the wisdom plus a hit point of level, mountain dwarf plus the strength, armor proficiencies. This thing sounds so unique and so interesting that I can't lump its abilities into
Dwarven weapon training useless.
into a balance. Here. I'm liking the concept, but I need to know more about it visually, and I want to know more about it. What's the word I'm looking for? Thematically, or like what is its culture?
It's
Hey
multi-legged.
Ted, we're making it up right now. That's what
That's
So-
He wants a base, basically.
So I kind of see them having maybe like, so they'll have like maybe a set of arms, but then maybe they'll have like vestigial like crab claws too,
Okay.
kind of coming off of like the side of their torso, that they can hold stuff, but it's not like they can wield weapons or whatever.
Okay.
Like you might be able to hold like a Everborn burning torch or something like that in it, but you're not, or just hold a tool, but you're not gonna wield it.
Okay.
In these vestigial arms.
They got T-Rex claws.
Well, or do we want to give them that, like, maybe they do have the full-on crab thing, pinchers, like...
What if they have the pinchers and then they also have a set of hands that they can use to manipulate things, as if they're kind of like more monstrous, not like a dwarf top with a crab bottom. So how that's what we're like. How are you?
Yeah, how are we visualizing it?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first thing is, are you going to play them as a character? Because that changes
Well, I mean, if
the dynamic.
I would say that it would be the kind of thing, if you're running, say, an aquatic campaign, like, I would basically make merfolk humans with a swim speed, and they can breathe underwater. Like, same thing with elves. I really wouldn't change all that much. I would just kind of map it onto it and say their culture is aquatic, and that's kind of
They've
the
got
difference.
webbing in their toes and stuff, and
Yeah, they can breathe underwater, and they got a swim speed. There you go. Bam.
Well, yeah, and that's for merfolk, and that's for elves. That's all well and good. But if you're taking something and basically kind of making it monstrous.
Right.
You especially like if you just look at a crab, the crab actually has 10 limbs. It's got 3 legs on either side. It's got the swimming flippers, and then it's got the claws.
Right.
Yeah.
2 usually bigger claws, and then like 2 like
Smaller ones.
food assistants.
Those things are closer to mandibles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so this isn't going to have mandibles because it's got a dwarf torso instead.
Right.
So let's go with it. It's like very centaur like.
So does it have four legs, or does it have 6?
I think 6 with 2 swimmer thingies would be good.
Yeah.
Right, which that's the 4 basically.
And they're still going to be slow because crabs probably don't swim all that fast.
So
really.
it's going to have.
And they don't have that sleek body anymore. They've got a dwarf torso on top of it.
Yeah,
so
It's
some
not
water
very
resistant.
water dynamic.
All right, so they're going to have a land speed of 20 and a swim speed of 20. They're not quick, right?
Nope. By any
The
stretch.
dwarves normally have a 20.
Dwarves have a walking speed of 25.
Okay.
So these guys.
So
will
we've
be
made them even slower.
Or we could do 25 and 25.
I think 25 and 25 works.
Crabs move fast.
Yeah, they scuttle pretty
This
fast. And
scooter. Yeah.
He might have to do the crab
it's a
walk.
dwarf with a lot more legs.
That's true. All right.
So I think it's going to be a little bit faster.
I mean, some things make sense. Isn't there a thing where like dwarves are resistant to being like pushed or shoved?
Not in this edition.
You think you're thinking about the dwarven armor?
4th edition.
Or
Dwarven armor,
third,
dwarven plate.
or third, or third is also the same
All right.
thing.
So
But with the multiple limbs, like that could be a thing. Like they're harder to like push because of the multiple limbs.
So they were blessed or cursed based on some ancient mythos, and now they're a true bred race down in the bottom of the ocean somewhere.
I think long ago a whole bunch of dwarves were going to a different continent in a ship, and there was a storm, and when they're capsizing and stuff, and Maltritus blesses them with a new body that can survive in the water.
Well,
In
maybe
exchange for
they're
their
calling
homage.
out for help, and that was the only one that
He's
helped
like, sure, I'll help you.
Please, Maltritus, don't sink us.
Yeah.
Well, that already happened. So the secondary prayer is, please save us from what you've done to us. We've learned our lesson. So now he gets whether they think it's a blessing.
So
he
lose
gives them one.
weapon training because axes and hammers make no sense.
Right. They normally get the stone cutting, which is a little iffy here. They normally get tool proficiency.
I see these guys definitely being industrious.
Yeah, tool proficiency's fine.
Smith, brewer, or mason.
It's not. It's probably not one of those 3, but they have crafting skills.
They can make
Well,
some stuff.
crafting. You can carve coral into things. I mean,
I definitely see them in like shell armor and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Shell and carapace.
yeah.
they wear the dead dwarves. armor and
Maybe.
shields.
Well,
shields. That
so
was cool.
also too,
I don't think so.
I was kind of thinking too, like, do they have like some maybe like chitinous plating on their body that's just like naturally there? Like, I mean, that might put them more towards being monstrous if they have some sort of bonus, but you know, like we could strip away some abilities and like, oh, they get like a flat +1 AC because of their chitinous armor.
Well, we could, basically replace stone cutting and weapon training with a +1 to armor.
Yeah, I mean,
Cabras.
it's pretty strong. Yeah.
Now, is it like the Warforged, or is it if you're not wearing armor, you get an armor bonus?
No, it's just the +1.
Okay.
Yeah, you could go either way with that, but it just depends.
AC 11. Or if you do anything else, your AC is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well, that makes a huge difference. Then you would probably even bump the armor class up a little bit higher. But I like the flat bonus.
Yeah.
No, it's
these
Either that,
guys.
we can say they're generally an AC 13 plus Dex. We could go, which way do we want to go?
I'm
+1.
I'm more
If you
inclined-
assign a number as soon as they wear armor, then that number changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's why it's
what-
got to be, if it's going to be something flat that is a way to calculate armor class, then you've got to give them, it's got to be more than a 1.
Right.
It's kind of pointless.
See, the Warforged, flat 1 bonus is the only thing that exists out there, and they get severely penalized.
They really
to get that.
Well, I think that's because in the play testing of Eberron,
Right,
they're
well.
really weighing that +1 heavy until
Yeah.
they see what it does.
So I'm skeptical to continue with that theory. So I would rather not have them have a carapace, or have it fit more to that flat armor that flat armor class, similar to like the sorcerer ability.
Or the, yeah, okay.
So, well, in that case, do you go a 2 or a 3?
Well, I mean, that just gives them
they're just
AC 13.
They're
Yeah.
AC 13, yeah.
13
Plus.
plus Dex.
13 plus Dex.
Yeah.
And then if you're a monk, barbarian, or wear armor, or a dragon sorcerer, it does nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless if you're
There
dragon
is no
sorcerer,
unless. It does nothing if you're any of the above.
right.
You have to pick what you're going to use.
Right.
Like unarmored defense or whatever. So now that greatly nerfs that ability and brings it down.
Right.
So it's not weighted anymore at all. Yeah.
Yeah, not very much
It becomes
at all.
more flavor than anything else at that point.
Right.
I mean, it's still like pretty sweet if you're like a rogue or something like that.
So now, what do we want to give them? Some kind of weapon training? Do they like? I don't know what spears normally are. But I would definitely see these guys, being able to adapt to the water and, train with spears or something.
I think most things in the water are going to
Spear,
use
trident,
thrusting weapons. Yeah.
Crossbow. Now, granted, some of those things aren't even martial weapons.
Right.
So pretty much anybody can use them, except for the
Classless.
classes that have specific
Weapon lists.
weapon
Right.
lists. So there's that. They're going to get dark vision.
Mm-hmm.
What else is on the dwarf list?
Languages get common and dwarvish.
Swap out the poison for cold.
Yeah, that works.
Advantage on cold saves and resistance.
Yeah. And then of course whatever they get for their sub race, either the toughness or the armor training.
Well, yeah, I don't think Arbor Trainer is going to apply nearly as much now.
No.
Yeah, so give them the...
So what
Well-
is their secondary stat?
Yeah.
That, giving them AC 13 is a good swap out, I think, for armor training.
Okay, so that's the sub.
That's what they did.
ability.
That's what they did with the favored soul. Is they said, well, we're going to take away that the dragon armor basically, and say you can wear armor instead.
So so you have that, then stats, strength and con.
Yeah, I was thinking
I
more.
could see
more,
the case for the wisdom. Too,
Yeah, I was
though.
gonna lean more towards the Hildorf, give him con and wisdom. I know it's a straight overlap, but
What's so strength and con?
that's true.
yeah. But so why the wisdom though?
Because they had the foresight to call to the god for help.
They're religious. They got religion.
So I don't know. Like I go strength because just the fact that they're swimming all the time.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they have to endure underwater pressure.
Well, also too, because of the getting the 2+2s, like since they've got swapped down to an inferior ability. Let's face it, like the thing, and if they're not even getting the toughness ability that the hill dwarves get, then you may as well give them the better stat bonus, like the other +2.
Yeah,
So-
and the other thing too, like, you know, what are they generally going to be? They're probably going to be, you know, I could definitely see these guys having barbarian levels, ranger levels, fighter levels. You know, could be paladin levels if they're champions of Maltritus.
Right.
You know, probably clerics, priests, but maybe not so much. You know, sorcerers and wizards. I mean, they can have them, but
Right.
you know, I don't see them. Or even, you know, maybe an aquatic druid.
Right. Yeah. That
Could
definitely
work as
makes
well.
sense.
Yes, I mean, in that regard, the wisdom would be appropriate, especially because they basically, the mythos is that they were transformed by a god into this. So I would think that they would be heavy on the cleric and other types of worshiper stuff.
But who
so.
couldn't use a +2 the strength? You can always at least have a 10.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
how about we look at the half elf method? What if they get a +2 to con, a +1 to strength, and a +1 to wisdom?
Split the difference.
It's been done. Yeah.
I mean, I know it breaks a little bit of the mold, but it still kind of somewhat mirrors half elf.
Right.
But it's not as good as half elf.
Well, because half elf gets to choose.
Because they're not.
Yeah.
As
chosen.
long as you can suck out the sweet dwarven crab meat.
Look at their legs. On
Oh,
them.
yo, sea ogres are going to love these dwarves. They're going to be all about
Natural enemies.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they actually changed sea ogres
Marrow.
into their own thing.
Marrow or no? Is it
Yeah, it's still a marrow, but they made it its own thing.
Huh.
It's like a new race species.
It's not a subspecies under
ogre anymore. Yeah.
Huh, that's
All right.
interesting.
So okay. They still have the crafting. We switched to resistance.
Right.
To cold.
Right. They get spear and light crossbow are simple weapons,
Okay.
and then trident and heavy crossbow are martial.
Okay.
So are we giving all 4 of them?
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
So
fair
that
enough.
is just a direct change to their combat training, because they get 4 here, which battle axe and warhammer are definitely martial.
I think in
So-
the errata that we should talk about sometime, I think they don't have throwing hammer anymore.
Yeah, they did. Away with that, but
Yeah.
it's hardly relevant now.
Well, no, that we were saying like the 4
Yeah.
and the 4.
So, all right, so we're going to give them those 4, but 2 of them are simple. So for most things, it's pointless. We're getting rid of stone cutting, but we're keeping a tool proficiency that makes sense.
They're amphibious.
They're amphibious, so that, they get they still get the dark vision. They get a swim speed, but it's kind of necessary for a
Any aquatic
game.
Yeah.
Vulnerability, butter.
Yeah. Or phobia of butter. Yeah.
Melted butter.
Just to be on the the safe side, a clear side. Do they only breathe water, or can they
No.
breathe?
Well, amphibious
Amphibious.
means you're both land and water. So
I didn't hear that part. So they can do both, right?
They can do both.
you can do
Okay.
both.
They get +2 to con, +1 to strength, +1 to wisdom, and they have their armor class is 13 plus dex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you imagine a bunch of these things like crawling up on the beaches of a shanty town or whatever, or a village, like in mass, like coming for a
Feels
village?
kind of Cthulian.
Yeah,
actually.
or
Crab men from the deep.
or even or just up the side of a ship, so type of thing. Yeah, it'd be super creepy and awesome.
All right.
Into
So
it.
is there anything else that we need to give these guys? Do they feel rounded out and good?
They're kind of bare bones. I think this may require an article to go
Right
along
up,
with it.
Yeah. Formal.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit more on their like society and history. It almost sounds like they're going to have a theocracy.
Yeah, probably something where the clerics weigh heavy.
Yeah,
Right.
if they're not all out led by a church, then
Dwarves are normally lawful on their bent. So I see these guys as being very lawful neutral. The seas are kind of unforgiving, so the goody things don't really do so well in the deep. And Maltritus is definitely not that way. It's survive or suck it.
Yeah. So what do we call these? A drab? A Crorf.
Dwarves.
I don't. So far, I don't like any of those.
Yeah. So an aquatic dwarf.
Craft. Crabbelow dwarves.
Yeah,
I just keep thinking from earlier when you said Dungeness.
Dungeness and Dragoness crabs. Yeah, that's it.
so I think it's going to take some playing around with it. I don't think just taking crab and dwarf and merging them,
Together
merging the
gonna
words
work.
together is going to
The children of Maltritus.
Yeah.
Well, you need
Yeah.
like one like 2 syllable.
I think we're
thing.
going to have some kind of like dwarven kind of sounding word for what they call themselves.
Hey, anybody out there know what the dwarven word for crab is?
Yeah, or Alaskan
delicious.
king
Or
crab
seafood.
eggs.
Delicious.
Sea dwarves are sea dwarves.
What are what's the dwarven word for red lobster?
Nice. So with that, help us out with the name down below. What do you guys think of this idea? While you're commenting, why don't you like, subscribe, and even share?
You can find us over on nerdarchy.com.
And while you're there, check out the store.
You can also join the conversation over on Reddit.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.